Hello and welcome to another video. This might be a bit of an unusual one, especially because I never review my shoes, but I run absolutely every single day. So I thought, what better than just making a little review and giving you an overview of the shoes that I've been wearing for the past 3 months. Actually more than 3 months, but I've worn them absolutely every single day for a run. They are the Adidas Boston 12s. I had to quickly read that because I didn't know that off by heart, but I still had to remind myself. So there they are, the most beaten up shoe you've probably seen. Actually, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but these shoes have been through a lot. And when I say a lot, they've actually been through, I can't even count how many countries, but I've run in them since I've started traveling nearly 3 months ago. So I've gone from Edinburgh to Singapore to Kuala Lumpur, then Krabi, then Phuket, a few places in Phuket, Patong, Pang Thao, Bali, to the north of Vietnam, to the south of Vietnam, the middle of Vietnam, everywhere. Currently, they're on 911 kilometers, which is way overdue a change for them. But honestly, I never felt like they needed a change. They felt incredible up until now. And to be fair, I probably could keep going in them for another 100k and just round them off to 1,000. But I've got a long journey ahead of me and I really need to pack as light as possible. And I've already got the replacement for these shoes. So thought, when's a better time to just kind of call it a day with them than now? So let me start from the very top. I'll give you a little overview on the shoe itself, and then I'll move on to a review of it. Let me clip this up here so that it's a bit more comfortable. I hope you can still hear me. So here's the shoe itself. At the very top you've got the laces. They're just kind of like a thin fabricy material. They do come undone quite frequently, so I have to double lace them pretty much every single time I run. They're pale white. I've never washed them, but they do kind of stay quite white. By the way, these shoes have been through a lot. Like when I say a lot, like mud, rain, sand, off-road, on-road, whatever you can imagine, heat, cold, whatever. And they're holding up really well. The upper is kind of like a blend between this kind of suede material on the inside, and then on the outside is quite this rigid plasticky material all over the upper, which is very strong. Honestly, none of it has any rips and tears even after 900k. A lot of my other shoes have had tears in them, but these have literally held up perfectly all around, like on the sides, on the front. And the material isn't too soft. I really thought these shoes were just going to be agony to run in, like very hard, but they've been incredibly comfortable. It just makes the upper really light. On the inside here, you've got a cushion on each side, and just the back is actually very, not soft, but very hard. I actually genuinely thought that this shoe is just going to rip up my Achilles heel, but it's just been perfect. I don't know if it's the shoe size, which is just the regular 10 for me, just like any other shoe I've got. It's been perfection for me. Going on lower, we've got this kind of middle section of the foam. I think they call it the Light Strike Pro. Then we've got another section of foam, which is like all white. It's again Light Strike 2. And in between them, we've got carbon rods, as Adidas calls it, which is pretty much a rod that the rods that kind of wind underneath the shoe. So the actual heel and the sole consists of a few parts of kind of foam inserts, not inserts, whatever you want to call them, which are we just run two bits along the heel. I don't think they connect because mine have rubbed off, so I wouldn't even be able to tell if they do. But this part here used to be one whole piece, which is now rubbed off here. This part here is obviously coming off now. Front foot, that's all Continental rubber. Honestly, it's fared really well over 900k. I'm not a light guy. I'm 92 kilograms, so they've done well, especially with most of my runs being on the asphalt. They've actually held up incredibly strong. The grip on them is amazing. I've never slipped in them. Always been quite stable and comfortable running long distances. I've run 30k's. I think 30k has been the longest that I've done, but I've run all of the distances in all kinds of climates, in heat, rain, cold, uphills, downhills. Everything is just not a challenge for the shoe, especially if you want to do a hard effort, if you want to do a light effort, if you want to just do a long, easy run, or you want to push yourself. These shoes just seem to be the best kind of all-rounder. I'm actually going to show you the other shoe as well. It's fared fairly evenly as well. It's one same situation here on the outer heel portion, and then the inner heel portion slightly rubbing off, but not as much as the other shoe. And the only thing that's happened to them in the last few weeks is this. So the upper is starting to come off from the sole, but as you can see, the upper is actually stitched together to the bottom part of the upper part of the shoe, which actually gives me a lot of confidence. This was never coming apart really. It's just a bit of glue that's kind of come unstuck, so I could literally just stick some glue in there, push it together, and this would last, I don't know, another few hundred kilometers easily. But even without me gluing it together, I've still been running and it's never been an issue. Overall, I think it's time for me to probably give you my final kind of review of these shoes. Considering the amount of distance I've done in them, that I really bought them for about 400k just to kind of carry me over after my last shoes, which was the Asics Nova Blast 3s. I think I went through about 4 or 5 pairs of those. Decided to change it up. I just bought these to kind of carry me over between the start of my travels and the next shoe I decided to buy. Just ended up wearing them every single run ever since, because I just never found a reason to change them. They've been incredible. They've just never given me any niggles, any problems. My calves never actually felt in pain. My shins never felt in pain. My feet have always been quite comfortable. There's a perfect balance between softness and rigidity. So if you want to just keep going for a long distance, easy pace, or if you want to just do a very kind of quick effort, like a 20 or sub 20 minute 5k, honestly, perfect shoe. They're nice and light and they can keep going forever, and you'll never lose grip in them. I should probably try and stick some negatives in this review in case, you know, people think that I'm sponsored by Adidas, but unfortunately I'm not. I will probably say I'm actually struggling to come up with anything because I've just loved them so much. Probably that this upper mesh here doesn't really clean very well. I've never tried putting a brush to the upper because I'm afraid I'm just gonna damage this mesh. Overall, I've never really had a problem with, I've never really bothered cleaning them that deeply because they're my everyday runners. They're not supposed to be clean. I don't really mind as long as they don't smell of death, which they already do, to be fair. Cleaning them is probably not gonna be the easiest. But yeah, really, I can't really complain. Honestly, these shoes have fared really well. I never counted on them lasting this long, and they're still going strong. I probably could still do another couple of 100 kilometers, even round it off to 1,000. But overall, I don't really find a reason why I couldn't. But I'm just due a change anyway. I just wanna make sure that I'm giving my knees and my ankles and my joints a fair chance. If you are in the market for a new shoe, don't hesitate to buy this. I know at first it might feel a bit hard, especially if you're used to a softer shoe. These shoes, they're such a great all-rounder. They are a bit harder than usual, but you'll get used to it and it'll make you a better runner as well, because you're not going to be dependent on an ultra soft shoe for your every single run. You're going to be really happy wearing one shoe for every single run. Overall, I would definitely set this as a buy, or like at the top of your wish list. Maybe even try them on at the shop, but it doesn't just do it justice, because you just need to really get out there and run in them. They're not like a Vaporfly that you can only run in it mostly for hard efforts and, you know, races. This shoe is a bit softer than that, and it'll allow you to just put the mileage on it and feel comfortable doing it. And yeah, I hope this has given you a bit of a comprehensive view of it. And if you end up buying them, or if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to stick them in the comments, and I look forward to hearing from you. See you in the next one.